back to the way things should be. Let's talk all things Spider-Man. Spider-Man No Way Home was just released, and I'm about to give you a full spoiler review on it. What did I think about this movie? I'm just going to cut to the chase right now. I think this movie is absolutely amazing. No pun intended, because it is The Amazing Spider-Man. It's amazing what they were able to achieve in this film, and how it pays tribute to all versions of Spider-Man, kind of like what Into the Spider-Verse did, but in live action. So after the fallout from Mysterio revealing Spider-Man's identity to the world, things are not going well for Peter Parker and his friends. So he goes to Doctor Strange for help. He's like, hey, can you do a spell that will make everyone forget my identity? This is very much reminiscent of the comic book storyline Brand New Day. And Doctor Strange is like, sure, except Spider-Man botches it in the middle of the spell, making that everyone who now knows Peter Parker is Spider-Man come to this universe from the other Spider-Man movies. So we got returning characters like Doc Ock, Green Goblin, Electro, the Lizard, Sandman. It's awesome. One thing I love about this movie is the performances. I think Tom Holland gives his best performance as Spider-Man yet. He's really good in the lighthearted comedic stuff, but he's also really good in the dramatic stuff. And this movie actually gets pretty dramatic at some points. There's a part where Aunt May dies, and the scene between Tom Holland and Marissa Tomei is absolutely stunning. So this is a spoiler review, so let's dive into some spoilers. First off, let's talk about Matt Murdock. He's in this movie. Holy crap, what does that mean? Does that mean that the Netflix is finally canon? Netflix is confirmed canon, basically? I guess so, because freaking Kingpin is in Hawkeye, and Daredevil is in Spider-Man, so it looks like Netflix is finally canon. It's really cool to see Charlie Cox back as Daredevil. That was really cool. Even though it was only for a short scene, it was really cool to see him. But let's talk about the big thing here. The big spoilers that everyone's talking about right now. All three Spider-Mans, Tobey Maguire, Andrew Garfield, and Tom Holland, are in this movie. Seeing that almost made me cry. It was amazing to see all the three Spider-Men working together, working as a team. Willem Dafoe as the Green Goblin was absolutely amazing. He was menacing as always. He's definitely the villain, in my opinion, that steals the show. The thing with Spider-Man, the new Spider-Man trilogy, is this. I like Homecoming and I like Far From Home. I think they are entertaining movies. But my biggest gripe with those films is that they didn't feel like Spider-Man films. And I understand what they were trying to do. This was our third reboot in 10 years. So they wanted to do something different. But in wanting to do something different, I think they almost overdid it to the point where it didn't feel like Spider-Man anymore. It felt like Iron Man Jr. And Spider-Man didn't feel like Spider-Man. It felt like we were watching almost a new superhero that wasn't really Spider-Man. But they were entertaining movies and I liked it. And I even said that at the end of Far From Home, it seemed like they were inching more towards the Spider-Man that we all know, because he was swinging through Manhattan with MJ and all that stuff. So it seemed like they were really, they were taking Spider-Man back to his roots. I was wrong, because the end of this movie does that. The end of this movie takes Spider-Man back to his roots completely. Spider-Man, in order to defeat everybody, has to make everyone forget about him and forget all memory that he is Peter Parker / Spider-Man. So, and in doing that, he loses his friends, he lost his aunt because she died, and he loses everything, basically. And he doesn't have the Stark technology anymore. He just has his own sewn handmade suit. And that is where it leaves off. It almost feels like this movie, this trilogy, is an origin leading up to Spider-Man. So this whole trilogy was the longest origin to Spider-Man that we've gotten. That's what it feels like. And that was really cool to see. That's one of my biggest compliments toward this movie, is the ending. The fact that they had the balls to do that, and I think that is absolutely amazing. Now, is this movie perfect? No, there are some gripes about it. There are some logistical things that don't make sense when you really start to think about it. Like, how come Electro is there? If the spell being botched made everyone who knows Peter Parker is Spider-Man come to the MCU, why is Electro there? Because Electro never knew that Peter Parker was Spider-Man. As a matter of fact, in the movie, once he's revealed that Andrew Garfield is Spider-Man, he says, "Oh, I thought you'd be black." So it's it's kind of a conflicting thing there where it's like it doesn't really make sense that Electro is there because he didn't know that he was Peter Parker with Spider-Man. And there's a couple other things, like when the spell is like going on, Wong says that the spell is multi-dimensional. So does that mean that everyone in the multiverse forgets that Peter Parker is Spider-Man? So does that mean that Kirsten Dunst's MJ is going to forget that Peter Parker is Spider-Man in the Raimi universe? Again, these are more nitpicks. Just like with Endgame, there are certain things you just sort of have to let go in order to enjoy the movie. There are some plot holes and some inconsistencies, but you know what? That's fine. I had so much fun with this movie that they didn't really bother me. When you deal with things like time travel and multiple dimensions and multiverses and magic, you are going to encounter those types of problems. And there are those problems throughout the movie. There are a couple of those problems. Also, a little minor gripe is I think maybe because of the pandemic, they didn't have Thomas Hayden Church and Rhys Ifans, who played the Lizard and Sandman, to actually be there on set, because you can tell that because they were CG characters, they just reused footage from Spider-Man 3 and The Amazing Spider-Man. They reused footage, and that was actually just been released. Like, when I saw it, I knew it immediately. I was like, that's reused footage. But overall, that's just another nitpick. It's like most people probably won't even notice that it's reused footage, and it still makes sense in the context of the story. Overall, I thought this film was amazing. I don't think it's better than like Endgame, because Endgame had 10 years of build-up that it had to achieve, and it did that for me, and it landed, which is crazy. Overall, I would put this on my tier list. I would put it at an S tier still, because it is amazing to see all three Spider-Man back, to see Tobey Maguire, Andrew Garfield, and Tom Holland all back and kind of have their redemptions from their sequels, which were less, well received. Like from The Amazing Spider-Man 2, there was that redemption moment when Andrew Garfield leaped and saved MJ, and he sort of had that redemption moment. And this is almost acting as Spider-Man 4, Amazing Spider-Man 3, and, Homecoming 3, which is what this is. And it's amazing to see that. The fact that they were able to pull that off. Another minor complaint, it can be a little dense for non-viewers. If you aren't steeped and rooted into this world, like if you aren't deep into it, not just the MCU, but superhero films and superhero pop culture in general, then this film might be confusing for you. But overall, to me, to the people who are steeped in it, it's amazing. And the fact that they pulled it off is also amazing. Marvel really listens to their fans. People have been saying that we want a live-action Spider-Verse, and they gave us a live-action Spider-Verse storyline. I can't praise this movie enough. I think it's fantastic, and yeah, that's gonna be it, guys. As you notice, Nico Nico 9 is back. The movie calendar just, I wasn't feeling it. I tried it for a little bit, but I kind of just grew to miss Nico Nico 9. That's where my home is, you know what I'm saying? Nico Nico 9, that's where it's at. So, anyway, I'm gonna give Spider-Man No Way Home a 9.5 out of 10. And I know what you're thinking. Nico, you hate giving 9.5s out of 10s. Yeah, I do, but some of those plot holes and things like that kind of took the movie down just a little bit. So I'm gonna put it at a 9.5 out of 10. Even with the plot holes in it, the better parts of the movie outweigh the negative parts. I absolutely loved this movie. I saw it twice already, and I had to review it on this channel. So, alright guys, that's going to be it for today. I'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.